grindcore is essentially death metal played by punks.
Okay.
So it's metal and it's rah-rah and it sounds like demons fighting and stuff like that. But it's the energy and the aggression and the movement of the whole thing is kind of driven by blast beats mostly. So everything's super fast. Songs are really short. It's music for ADHD.
G'day. That's in honour of Peter Russell Clarke, by the way, who recently passed away. And you know what I loved about Peter Russell Clarke is he was apparently very, very blue, like he would swear a lot off screen and seemed very wholesome on screen. Anyway, that's an aside. This episode features, it's a little self-indulgent. It features a fantastic old friend of mine, Duncan Beard, who I have known for a very long time. He was in Canberra band, still is. He's a drummer, very into, I was going to say death metal, but he will kill me, more of a grindcore person. If you get annoyed at genres and think they're a bit wanky, no. Like he will absolutely like separate all the different metal genres and try to school me on them. The coolest thing about him is that he loves jazz and Taylor Swift and grindcore, tries to kind of convert me to all three. I don't know that that's happened yet, but we will learn more about that. And also the metal scene in the 90s. And there are a lot of good people in that scene. So yeah, you'll learn more about that. But first off, the vinyl monologue. You're going to hear me talk about one of my favourites. Enjoy. Well, welcome friends to another little vignette about vinyl called the Vinyl Monologue, to again justify the podcast title. Now we're going to head to something pretty important to me. So this is an amazing Pixies record. It's, I guess, incredibly seminal. The first Pixies record before Doolittle, and you would know that. And hey, that's cool. Like everyone knows Monkey's Gone to Heaven and Here Comes Your Man. But incredibly important to me. I have, of course, the faded Pixies tattoo that I keep thinking I need to get re-inked because it looks really daggy. So this record is interesting, and I'm not trying to be a hipster saying, Doolittle's not the one. Doolittle's incredible and was my gateway. I was lucky enough to have a family member who I didn't always get along with, but who gave me this box of tapes when I was quite young. She was already playing Pixies and Pop Will Eat Itself and stuff when I was about year 5, and I did like the Pixies, but I probably really got into them in about year 7, which is still quite young. And I guess Surfer Rosa for me was, well, it has my favourite Pixies song, which is River Euphrates. And the thing that Kurt Cobain loved about Pixies was the light and shade. So that really soft verse and the hardcore chorus. And I think he is the first to admit, was the first to admit that he like based a lot of Nirvana's kind of, song structures on Pixies. He never shied away from saying that. So the thing about this record is, I think Black Francis, as he called himself then, had spent like a minute in Spain, right? So, but fancies himself as a Spanish speaker and would really incorporate a lot of that, particularly in this record. So Vamos, Oh My Golly, like just some gorgeous songs. And what's funny is like I've never tried to learn Spanish, but like when I'm in the car, I'm a native speaker when I sing along to this song. It's fantastic. And I've seen them live now. I think I'm going to one later this year, which will make it the 8th time. But every time I say it, I think I know all the words, but I really don't. It is just a beautiful record. And again, to hold it up is because this is the cover that I guess was not, they're not safe for work one, that they had something else, like a shrink wrap, like Guns N' Roses did with Appetite for Destruction, which they should have done because, the inner sleeve was revolting. But this is gorgeous. Best breasts on the planet and just really, really sexy and cool. And yeah, like it's got, so Kim Deal wrote Gigantic on this record, which is just, he is quite, how can we describe Black Francis? I don't know him personally, but by all accounts, he was just quite dogmatic in the band. And so Kim Deal didn't write a lot of songs, but the ones she did are quite notable. And her vocal impact on a lot of the songs, and again, that light and shade was just beautiful because she had quite a sort of, I don't know, like I normally prefer that really gritty female voice. She didn't have that. She had this really kind of almost tinny kind of lilt, but it really like worked because he had this really guttural crackle in his voice. And I don't need you to sound like a classically trained singer. Like I'm not a Bublé fan. Like I want it to sound dirty and dark. And I don't know, like there's so many moments in this album that are like that. And even Kim Deal herself said that it's like an eargasm. It's like that bit that you hear that just like, oh my God. And anyway, she does that in my favorite song, River Euphrates. It's fantastic. I got the tattoo, fun fact, when I thought that they'd broken up after their last release that I loved, Trompe le Monde, and their discography was complete and it was perfectly reasonable to get a tattoo forever. The things they've released since, not so much of a fan, but it also might be because of that whole regurgitator, like the old stuff better than the new stuff. They just, I don't know, are part of a very specific time in my life. And I loved everything they did then. It really meant a lot to me. I've tried to embrace the other stuff. I love them live. It's fantastic. I'm not a Kim Deal purist. Every other bassist they've had have been fantastic. But yeah, anyway, that was just a special time in their discography. And Surfer Rosa, man, it's the one to listen to. Today, I'm lucky enough to welcome, just like full disclosure, an old friend, Mr. Duncan Beard. Hello.
Dr. Duncan Beard, actually.
Dr. Duncan Beard.
Thank
Thank you very much. Does that mean you get flight upgrades?
No. I don't
you just pop that in the...
No.
I heard that happens.
Yeah.
Duncan's been playing drums since, primary school?
Yeah.
Into metal since high school, been into so many bands that I saw in the 90s. But I think the coolest thing really is that you're not, even though you're a big metal nerd, you're into jazz and orchestral stuff. And yeah, you're not limited really. So if people see you across the street, they're thinking metal, but that's not your entire vibe, is it?
No. No, it's not the entire vibe. The metal thing is probably more like, we were talking about this earlier. If you're into a type of music at the time we were growing up, the music that you're in kind of formed your identity.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was growing up, I started playing drums when I was in primary school and, I was in school band and got in trouble for speeding up and stuff like that. But by the time I was in high school, metal was really, really big. And my friends were into metal. So you'd kind of egg each other on and get into it. And it becomes a way to dress, a way to look, an aesthetic, but also like it becomes part of your identity. So, I think one of the first bands I played in was a really trashy metal band that we played.
What was the name of it?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't remember.
Teenage Girls in the Underpass?
No. I don't even think we had a name. It was terrible.
That's
we were
pretty
just
punk.
like bashing out stuff. Yeah.
I like that. Because this is a thing, right? In the 90s, because now everything's quite derivative and eclectic, right? So there's no longer like, I remember literally at Belconnen High School, there was, the goths and, the punks and it was quite segregated. And I don't know, I definitely defined myself in that way, which I know sounds a bit daggy, but the word alternative was quite literal. It was alternative to the mainstream. It's the way that counterculture, we just like sort of found something that we connected to. I mean, you look at like Nirvana and the rise of grunge, and I don't know, I feel like there was a huge movement, and I don't know that I've seen that in the last 24 years. I don't know. What do you think?
No.
You reckon there has been?
I tend to agree. Partially it's because we're both old. But also because music, at the time we were growing up, music was one of the things you constructed your identity around. You said, the goths, the metalheads, there were also jocks and sportos now. But I don't know if music is for younger people that much of an identity. I see kids that are into K-pop and there's a kind of a style going on there, but it doesn't have like a philosophy or an outlook on life necessarily.
Yeah, fair
Whereas
enough.
metal it was kind of like about rebellion, about sticking it to the man.
I love that. And is that what drew you to it as well? Because I guess I wouldn't say you came from a conservative house, but certainly not metal was being played in your house. Like
it was an act of rebellion. It's an act of, I suppose you say, teenage rebellion and stuff like that. That became a really big part of my personality. I mean, I'm still an obnoxious jerk now. But I don't know if music plays that kind of role in people's
No, it seems to sort of be an adjunct thing, right? Like, and I think too, I love that my older son is into the arc and narrative of an album, because now it's just like you just fed, just singles all the time. And I don't even know that people love bands in the same way. Like it's we'll get on to Taylor Swift because people would not think this about you, that you are a Swiftie,
No, I don't.
essentially. But I don't know. I feel like that's more, and I'm in no way discounting her talent and her songwriting prowess and all that sort of stuff, and the fact that, I'm clearly not in the...
I'd say that's like a really good example of...
she's just a machine, and it's like a cult. Like, it's not, to me, it's not...
I'd say...
It feels like a different experience.
Whether you like it or not, I'd say like the Swifties are definitely that's a cultural group. And
yes.
And it has
I don't even know it's about a love of music. I think it's just her as this cult leader. Not every... I think some people appreciate her songwriting.
The cult of personality and stuff like that going into it as well.
Yeah.
But the Swifties are like... That's it's a way of dressing, it's a way of thinking.
Yeah.
Like metal has, that kind of oppositional, defiant, we love Satan because... No, it is. And the Satan got involved with was like the figurehead of metal because it was shocking and trying to piss people off and be obnoxious. But at the same time, if I get really nerdy here, like Satan...
That's why you're here.
Satan is like in heavy metal is an antinomian figure, like a figure that stands for against...
What is antinomian?
Like non-normative, like non-normal. It's kind of like your centre is changed somewhere else.
You're justifying the doctor title right now. So
hell yeah. A figure of Satan, like in William Blake or John Milton's Paradise Lost, as a figure who kind of rebels against injustice and stuff like that, instead of the traditional Christian, Satan as something who's hideous, who's really bad and evil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That metal has that philosophy and thinking behind it. Taylor Swift, the music has thinking and feeling and moral and political positioning behind it as well. It's just not really involved with Satan. It's more kind of like, about individual philosophy and, an individualist philosophy where each person has, the emotional realm is the most important.
And I guess too, if it's a gateway to more music, that's great. And there's been so many studies done, so there must be some truth to it, that the music that you consume at a pivotal time, I think it's like between 13 and 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
But that sticks with you forever.
Yeah.
But I would argue too, and I know this about you, that that might have shaped your identity and like what we really go back to. For me, it was Nick Cave and Pixies and The Clash and all that sort of stuff. When I could have and I loved them with the sort of reverence of like a pop artist, because I still have a thing for Nick Cave in the same way, and still love Auntie Kylie because she took my boyfriend on that blasted song. But I would argue too, like we're still into really new stuff as well. We're not we're not stuck there. Like we might still have the aesthetic of what we were, like I still dress like I was 17, but I haven't found a better alternative. But I don't know, like we are into consuming some new stuff. And I know like you went on a bit of a K-pop sojourn with your daughter. Like, it's, we
nice
want to
to
consume new
things.
stuff. Yeah.
No, as much as I agree that with most people, their music, taste in music solidifies from age 13 to 17 and probably, I don't know, because you're in such an emotionally tumultuous position, that's when you kind of
you're looking for something to, because it's community, right? Like, so it's everybody just wants to feel a sense of belonging, like I'm being heard.
Yeah, well, the Swifties are a group.
Yeah.
Metalheads are a group as well. I mean, it's kind of an eclectic group at best, but that's one of the coolest things about being involved in the metal scene. And I got to say, like, I've been on the periphery of it, involved at different times. Like I was heaps into it when I was a kid, and it was absolutely everything. And then the 90s came, and the 90s smashed metal pretty hard. And they really did like grunge, kind of, at least popular metal, like really was damaged by grunge in a lot of ways. Right. It kind of sucked the audience away. An alternative. I mean, there was always the hardcore fans, but when it came back, came back with a vengeance. So going back to the 90s, so you were playing in bands since the 80s, but 90s is when we connected as mates. Yep.
And look, I guess the Canberra metal scene was pretty healthy, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we would go to places like, and maybe we're being a bit insular for anyone listening to this podcast that doesn't know, but, we had the Boardroom and we had the Terrace Bar and, we had some really, really great venues. Terminus, was it Gypsy? Okay, that was a bit later.
The Circus was a bit earlier.
Yeah.
There were so many venues everywhere. It seemed like they were really well timed. And I do wonder, I mean, I suppose live music was pretty much at its peak then.
It was huge because actually it was before, I think, like, I don't know, I feel like...
we were just at our peak then.
Right, well, maybe. Yeah. But what I love is, it seemed viable financially for artists to come here between Melbourne and Sydney. And
look, for a brief period, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that the ANU bar?
Yeah, ANU bar was pretty good. I mean, the fact that we had Nirvana, it's kind of remarkable.
That was crazy. But I also saw, some of the gigs that really turned me on, like the first big gigs as opposed to, not to diss, but like gigs at there was the community centres hosting a lot of metal gigs, which was kind of cool. But my first like legit gigs, like bought gigs.
Yes. I think mine was Rollins or something.
Instead of the Homeman's one. Yeah. It was like Rollins and the Hard-Ons and Sonic Youth, Dinosaur Jr., but all those places played the ANU bar because it was the only mid-sized venue. I mean, these guys couldn't fill the big stadiums. Yeah. Later, Pearl Jam would.
Yeah, that's like true. That's true.
The Unibar was key for that. It was such a big venue, an important venue for a long time.
Yeah, it was huge. And isn't there
now it's just basement.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's right. Well, the Uni, what is it, Canberra now, but it's fine. But basement seems to be getting some really big ones now. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's like the only dedicated venue. I mean, it leans heavy, which you're going to say I've got a big fan of. But what other mid-sized venues are there? I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
A big room at the Hellenic Club?
Yeah, maybe. But so we were going to gigs. I think because it wasn't as popular, I was getting in underage. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you were underage. Yeah, you were a little bit older than I was, but and you were playing in bands then as well. So what was your experience like playing in that scene?
Oh, okay. So I started playing before the metal scene. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
So I was doing dodgy covers bands. Like one of the first one. Oh no.
I want a guilty pleasure. I want
Jesse's
your words.
Girl.
Jesse's fucking Girl Rick Springfield. Have you seen him in Californication?
No.
Go back and Google Rick Springfield in Californication. Like he's just like.
There are so many songs that are so dead to me. Horses. Oh my God.
Why?
I'll gladly die.
He's starting out on that now, but he can't do the high notes anymore.
But that's the thing. Like the covers bands have like
you are so doing horses after this.
There are jazz standards. There are also like rock and pop standards as well.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they're so bad. But I played Summer '69 in a band called 68 Plus. So,
68 with benefits.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I was not responsible for that band name. I was the young. So when I was,
but you'll use it again.
This was in the 80s, the good old 80s.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was drumming in the band, and I was younger than everyone else. So I would turn up to some of the gigs and I was underage, and they were all above age. So I just kind of
whatever.
And it was,
It
was the 80s, so you'd drink underage and stuff like that.
I love the innocence. Like, remember Come Said the Boy?
Yeah.
Like, about, the girl losing in Virginia. I remember thinking it was Come Centre Point. I was living in Sydney. My dad just let me believe that for a while because he's like, I'm not going to tell Tatjana about, the young love that comes.
That's like the old Ozzy Osbourne, kiss me, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Jimi Hendrix. Yeah.
The worst one is Pearl Jam, 45 Virgins in a Pelican.
But Eddie's no one can understand. Like James Rain, come on, no one understands. So even if he's writing great lyrics, we don't know. Oh my God. So, okay, so then you were into metal bands.
Yeah. So while that was kind of happening, I was in trashy metal bands that were never any good. And then went away and while I studied, like when I was doing postgrad study and stuff like that, I didn't have any time, so I wasn't playing or involved with the scene. After that, when I started working, I got involved again and started picking up drums and played in some old Canberra bands that were doing their thing, played in a very slow band, Futility.
I remember seeing you at the boardroom. Yeah. You dedicated War Pigs to my dad, if he's listening right now, because I grew up with Black Sabbath.
That's right. I was sang in them.
Yeah. And when I told him, he was very impressed, even though probably not impressed that I was, 14 getting into the boardroom. But because my first English words was Warning off their debut.
That's cool.
Yeah, which was, that was my claim to metal fame. But I interrupted.
No, not at all. But that was hanging out with dudes who were with all these guys who were listening to this sort of stuff. So now it's weird. You see kids around wearing Nirvana T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, what do you need Nirvana? You weren't even born.
I know, but we don't want to be gatekeepers.
And Led Zeppelin and all that kind of old stuff. Sabbath.
Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong. I love, let the kids wear whatever the fuck they want, right?
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, do a bit of a deep dive into what you're listening to and
that's cool.
Love it.
Kids should make their own stuff, though.
No, that's true. But just, I don't know, have a listen to what this stuff is. It shouldn't just be a fashion aesthetic. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be one of those gatekeeper people. Name 3 songs. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be that person. But I just think just, I don't know, find out what you're wearing and maybe discover something new.
I'm all for people expanding their musical horizons and stuff.
Yeah.
As a metalhead, the worst thing you kind of get is like getting a cup of coffee at work the other day and there's a Metallica song on the radio and some dude goes, "Oh, you should like this." I'm like, that's offensive. Okay.
I only like it with the London Symphony Orchestra, thank you. Yeah.
Like, that's like, Metallica and Slipknot. That's offensive to me and my people.
Oh, I know.
Our culture is not just a uniform.
I know. It's like my definition of punk is the Clash. So it pisses me off when people think I'm going to love Green Day. You know what I mean? Like, who are arguably a little better than, some of the newer stuff again. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I agree with you. There's so much there and it's interesting and stuff. Some people just aren't interested.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're wrong.
That's right. And, that's what I'm loving about having my own podcast. I can have bloody definitive opinions and who's going to, whatever, you're not my real dad. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to have a go at you? Yeah. So you're playing in this stuff and are you writing original material?
So, we started writing on original material later on. So after playing in metal bands for a while, metal bands who were playing original stuff.
Yeah,
Did
cool.
Doom and then grindcore.
See, that fascinates me. You've tried to, school me on this.
Yeah.
There are so many different subgenres.
I've got a band who says grindcore is essentially death metal played by punks.
Okay.
So it's metal and it's rah-rah and it sounds like demons fighting and stuff like that. But it's the energy and the aggression and the movement of the whole thing is kind of driven by blast beats mostly, which is like, so you think a backbeat, most pop music and most rock music is boom, da, boom, da. Grindcore is you just make that as fast as a roll, essentially, and just speed it up, which is great. So everything's super fast. Songs are really short. It's music for ADHD.
I love it. I've interviewed classical musicians and composers, and I know that you got me onto this thought too, where we've talked about how that sort of style of music is still seen as highbrow, especially even in terms of the gigs. You're not sort of sweaty and like drinking a pint of Carlton at the front. You're like, it's the way that you sit there and whatever. And I love that there's so many like similarities between classical and metal in terms of the intricacies and the art and the talent and the time signatures and all that sort of stuff. And I just loved talking to, I think it was like a bassoonist or something. He was plugging a gig on my radio show. And I just said to him, like, what do you say to people who, like myself, who haven't been to a classical gig and don't know how to almost behave, feeling like it's really sort of, like that scene in Pretty Woman where she's got like magnifying glasses or something at the opera. And it's like, he just said, you know what? There shouldn't be rules because it's about just clap whenever the fuck you want. Just enjoy it like a gig, So do you agree with that? Because I know that you love classical as well. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a friend who plays in a community orchestra, which I think is just lovely. So it's like the orchestras that you see, most of them are going to be like professional orchestras, funded with great musicians who are extremely professional. This is what they do. Usually for a living and stuff like that. A community orchestra is like a garage band for
I love it.
Garage band playing Strauss or whatever. Awesome. It's really cool. So you still get the same, it's not the same kind of balance because there are too many violin players every man and his dog's got a violin, very few bassoon or tuba players and stuff like that. But it all balances out. It works kind of nicely. And it's a really good introduction to it as well because you just kind of watch and enjoy and follow along what everyone is doing. And because it's like a community thing, it's a lot less formal. I suppose that's probably where people can get intimidated. You have to kind of learn your way into these things.
Yeah.
Like if you're a newbie going to a metal gig, it would probably be a little intimidating because you've got
lots of old, fat,
bearded dudes wearing T-shirts that look just appalling, most of them with demons and guts going everywhere, standing with folded arms,
Well,
they're all cultural kind of things.
No, they are. And like, look, I cross the street when I see fucking teenager eshés, right? Like that's my jam. Yeah, because I'm old. No, but what I love is, people might see you and, like people aren't maybe getting a gist, but you've got loads of tats and, whatever else. And like, I don't know, what is it about that idea that people have that it is a scary kind of intimidating world? What do you say to that? Having lived it for so long.
Yeah, well, the aesthetics and thematically it is. It's a form of music that's essentially like about intensity and this is where you kind of get into different forms of metal as well because there's so many subgenres.
I took down the whiteboard, but
oh my God. Yeah. You could seriously do up a Gantt chart. That'd be ridiculous. But the extreme metal, which is, recognized as a genre now, is like, it's about pushing the limits of music, and it's kind of niche. Its aesthetics are extremely out there.
But it's not really that, in the sense that, again, it's the aesthetics, right? But then you hear about the good dudes who are playing it who are straight edge, or who might be religious, or, like help old ladies across the street. Like, it's just not what people think it is.
It's a form of art, though.
Yeah,
it's
of course. And expression.
It's connected to identity and community and stuff like that. But holy moly, if, and questioning established authority a lot of the time and stuff like that. But it's an intelligent form of art undertaken by mostly intelligent people.
Well, this is the other interesting thing in the 90s, I know, because I was a teenager.
Pantera accepted.
Again, we're allowed to have extreme opinions. That's what this is all about. In the 90s, as a teenager, I remember just, like a girl going through puberty, trying to find herself, wanting the attention of boys, but being terrified as well.
Yeah.
Lots of idiots around. And, friends of mine that would go to venues like the Private Bin or whatever, which for anyone listening who doesn't know was like the quintessential sort of dodgy nightclub or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've got in that sort of scene, and I think it's funny that hip hop sort of we called them bombers, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And because
they bombed places. That was the name for tagging.
That's right. And but I don't know, like they had the sort of perfect hair and chambray shirts and whatever, and it wasn't my jam, but they looked like the kind of guy you could bring home to mum, right? They looked respectable. Mm-hmm. And yet, they're putting like little roofies in girls' drinks and doing some dodgy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting that the metal and the stoners didn't. Like, I'm sure, there's bad eggs everywhere.
Thanks.
But, and I'm glad the charges were dropped.
The metalheads were roofing.
You couldn't afford it. Yeah, you couldn't afford it. So whatever. But I just feel like those dudes were just kind of cooler. Like, I had better experiences with the metal crowd, even though it wasn't necessarily my music genre. But you guys were just like, it was just about the music and hanging out, and everyone was just too stoned to fucking like cause drama. I don't know. I just felt like it was more laid back. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say I'm going to be biased. Yeah,
and of course.
In a perfect world, you have the ethic of the pit was really, really cool. Like in a mosh pit.
Oh, that too. That's something interesting to talk about.
Were only heavy metal.
Yeah.
Apparently mosh pits are kind of everywhere down the front now. But,
I'm sure Taylor Swift has one. Like, that's great.
They were the thing, and that's about the intensity of the music, thrashing your body around.
Yeah.
Bashing up against people. The initial ethic of the pit was that if somebody fell over, you pull them up.
Absolutely. And as a girl, you did it as well. And like you were treated fairly well, like as a girl, usually.
Yeah.
But then it really depends. I guess I was lucky. I felt like I was lucky.
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course. There's a big day out. The horrible Limp Bizkit death.
Yeah, but also, I mean, metal has let's face it, has a dodgy history when it comes to gender balance.
Okay.
So there are still relatively few females involved in the metal scene compared to dudes.
Well, look at the new singer of Linkin Park. How many people have butthurt about that? Like, it's a female.
Yeah, but
and everyone's freaking out about that.
Linkin Park's not a metal band.
No, but I mean, look, it's to me, it sounds like
to engage with your argument.
Sure. Okay, that's great. Get out. No, but like that, I would argue that they have a pop metal sensibility where people think they're being a bit tougher, and I just think like people still think they're being tough and staying true to the fucking art form by thinking that they can't have a female. So I guess there's still a modern example of a gender imbalance.
They can't have a female. The gender imbalance is, I don't know. Partially, it's going to be the musical art form found its feet in deeply sexist time. Originated in the 70s, maybe late 60s, whatever. And then comes of age in the 80s, and oh my God, hair metal. Do you think hair metal was good for women? It was like the most hypersexualized music ever.
No, of course. No, you're right. I guess, look, I'm just speaking, I guess, to my experience in Canberra in the 90s. Yeah,
metal
like
they were
good dudes, in compared to, I guess, the experiences of my friends who are dealing with, that sort of pop scene. Yeah.
So hell yeah. I mean, if you're going to be a predator, don't look like a predator.
Predator 101. I love it. But no, it would be nice that
although Josh Nixon did have a van.
Oh, God. Was it white, or did he have puppies and lollies in there? Or fuck, okay. Yeah, I actually worked with Josh. I edited BMA for a bit, and he was doing the metal column for a bit. And
he's still doing the metal column now.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
Talking about longevity, pod people. Holy moly.
Oh, wow, pod people, yeah. Okay, that's amazing. I think they're all still doing something though, those guys.
Yeah, they're still doing
B-Rad
stuff.
and I love it.
That's the thing. The metalheads will never die as well. You have Joel, who was playing drums in Armored Angel years ago, like a band that I saw at the youth centres, stuff like that. Is now playing in Witch Skull. We played a gig with them not too long ago, and apparently has a thrash band. It's like,
I love it. I was a big smoker in the 90s, and I remember, I think even you might have said I had even a deeper voice.
Yeah.
It was like, you could sing in a thrash band. I'm like, I just never realised that.
gravelly.
I never realised it, Duncan. It's very sad.
Hating thrash and all.
Yeah. Just sucks. But no, something for that the grandmas will like is there was this really, really great initiative called Metal for the Brain, where people, again, this speaks to, I guess, that when people think it was a really hideous, like, you know, Satan worshipping cult, but they were raising money for someone with a brain injury, Metal for the Brain. And it was amazing. I actually remember I went to this hideous hens night in the 90s, right? And it was on the Moonlight bus, you know, that would go around and, you know, it was just hideous. And I remember it was so awful and boring that I just said, can you just drop us off at the ANU bar because Metal for the Brain's on, and then just go and have a beer and watch all you guys play. It was great.
Yeah.
So did you ever play at that event? Or?
No. No, I missed Metal for the Brain.
Was there an incident? Oh.
No. I don't think I was even. I mean, I wasn't even playing in metal bands
at that point.
It was just like, no, I wasn't doing it then. I went to a lot of Metal for the Brains, not all of them. Yeah, the ANU one was fantastic. I remember lots of warm Coke with bourbon in it beforehand and stuff like that. And then the one at UC, there was the one at UC, the Voivod played out where I ran into a whole bunch of mates and like barely made it out of the car park. Talk about community. No, it was fantastic. But as you're right, if you're going to rehabilitate metal, so I mean that was Metal for the Brain was fantastic. It was a fundraiser for the Brain Damage Foundation based on a dude who was involved in the local scene had the shit kicked out of him because he was a metalhead. So it became a fundraising event.
Wow. Okay. And then
it was massively successful.
Yeah,
it was
for
really
sure.
good with the lads from Alchemist.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. And then the other thing I was going to refer to as well as venues was we had arguably the best bloody record shop. We had Impact Records.
Yeah, oh my God.
And I had friends from Sydney who were like, this is better than Waterfront or Red Eye. Like, Impact was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me, like, was the metal section good?
Oh, yeah. But you could get into so much. I remember going there and buying, like, the Mass Appeal Nobody Likes to Think album.
Mass Appeal, yes.
Based on the cover alone, just because the artwork was so kind of cool.
Lubricated Ghost. It was all
you remember the stuff, really crazy out there.
So there was a guy called Ian that worked there.
Yeah.
And he, and he was, again, this is the other thing, don't be a gatekeeper, be inclusive. And he was just, he would never judge you on whatever, and he was just, I don't know, like would point you to different things, and he was just a cool dude.
Things you might be interested in.
Yeah. I remember
gatekeeping is one of the things that metal.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Really?
Were you talking about having Linkin Park fans having a problem with a female singing?
Yeah.
That kind of gatekeeping is...
Yeah, it's bullshit, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, kind of, I don't know.
Did you ever impress the ladies with metal? I remember I was standing in the... still waiting for that. No, I remember standing out front of the tapes. I couldn't afford CDs. And then this goth boy that I really liked that I met at Henry Rollins pointed me to the new Echo and the Bunnymen record.
Oh, really?
So I bought that. And now it's in my top 5 songs of all time is off that record, Reverberation. But so no, I mean, was this something that you had in common with any like girlfriends or whatever? Because I find my love language is sharing music. And when you can share music with someone, I think that's pretty hot. Yeah. Did you ever have that?
No.
Oh my God, Duncan. I've actually heard that Spotify, it was like an April Fool's joke that they wanted to be like, have this thing where you connect just on your music playlist, like a Tinder. I'm like, that's a fucking amazing business idea.
I don't know.
Why can't we get that off the ground?
The gender imbalance is still like massive in metal. I reckon if you had like a metalhead app for a dating metalhead app, you'd have to call it Grindr.
Oh,
because it's for,
do you not think that name has been sullied?
There's a Judas Priest song called Grindr, which works perfectly.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. No, but again, no, because that to me is just, if you don't have my music taste or I can't indoctrinate you or I can't learn from yours, get out. Yeah. I reckon as a partner, that's just my vibe. I don't know.
No, fair enough. I'm not going to say there are no girls that like metal or girls generally don't like metal and stuff like that, but I don't know.
Oh, man. Well, you know what you could lead them in with? It's kind of sexy time is your jazz and your classical. Tell me more about how you found those genres.
So classical, I grew up listening to it. My parents listened to it. The big one for me was every year we would go to the beginning of the retreat, which was the passing out ceremony of students at Duncan Military College, and they play Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, and they do it with the cannons and the fireworks.
Wow, that's impressive.
And you have to
the drama.
The drama is fantastic. Yeah. You have to put up with all this bollocks about the Royal Military College band, playing big band arrangements of local popular songs. Here's John Farnham's You're the Voice with sax. And this guy, no, get out of here. Give me the cannons.
I reckon John Farnham might want to tour again based on that sort of.
Like the 1812 Overture, every year as a child seeing that, you'd wait for hours. So the anticipation was crazy. The music is like, the music tells the battle of 1812, where the French, where Napoleon was defeated by the Russians, as told by like this gay Russian composer who didn't really care about the battle anyway.
Right.
But it's so emotional. They used to use it for defense ads,
But did you rail against it initially because your parents?
That.
Oh, cool. Okay, because I was just going to say if
it's so passionate and emotional. Man, I listen to it now and I would
still get goosebumps. Yeah.
Because I went there with my mother, sometimes you get goosebumps and think about your mother and cry.
Yeah, no, because you and I have both lost our mums, and sometimes that music thing. I just know that like my parents would listen to metal at like 3 a.m. when I had school the next day. I'd be like, oh God.
1812 is like metal as well.
But you really loved it. It was a really good memory.
It's bombastic. It's like got energy. It builds. It's
that's cool.
It's a powerful kind of thing.
So that stayed with you, hey?
Oh, hell yeah. There's a lot of that kind of bombastic, over-the-top kind of stuff in metal as well. So I've always kind of listened to that. It's nice. It's really cool. I love Tchaikovsky because it is just so over-the-top. It is like metal at times. The jazz thing is because when I was at uni, I was living in a group house with dudes who were at the jazz school of music.
Oh,
so you just get exposed to it all the time.
Okay.
And you learn how to listen to it, which is really cool.
I still feel like it's a bit intimidating. I don't know where to start with jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's different kind of stuff, but it's one of those things you kind of, like anything else, you need to learn how to listen to the music. And without the background, it's inaccessible. So I got into the really weird stuff and then fell in love with a saxophonist called Ornette Coleman. So my son's middle name is Ornette, and he just
cool. Well, my son's name is Roland after Roland Howard. Like, I hear you. You
play it to him, and it sounds like drum and bass would sound to your grandmother.
Oh, I know, yeah.
What is this shit? Why did you call my middle name this?
He will appreciate it. He will appreciate it. Yes, he will. Yeah, he will, I reckon.
I didn't do it for him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But no, so they'll listen to jazz and stuff like that. And honestly, I think that like the best metal, like the best jazz and stuff like that, is willing to cross boundaries. Like if you're going to keep going as a genre, so we've been talking about metal for a while, and I'm quite old. And when I go to metal gigs, I see like the metal gigs I go to, the people are quite old as well. The new metal that I don't like listening to because it's not, which is popular, is like Parkway Drive just played. That was their 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like with the Green Day thing.
Yeah.
They've been going forever. They've got their 30th anniversary.
So the genres are still kind of going,
back,
but you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And
so the other thing I think that
when
comes
it pushes
up,
boundaries, that it's cool.
See, so if I just landed on planet Earth and you were explaining metal as a genre to me, everything you've said sounds amazing, right? So I'm loving the not conforming and the bombastic stuff and the genre pushing and like, you know, I don't know. I love the big fuck you vibes.
Yeah.
But like
But the
when I
music's
hear
so
it,
terrible.
exactly. This is the fucking thing though.
Yeah.
When I hear it, right? So I grew up with
You have to learn how to listen to it.
Well, yeah. I grew
Nobody
up with
starts with death metal. You start with like
you have to have the gateway
Bon
drugs.
Jovi. I mean, how did look?
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
I didn't realize that he was in the.
Bon Jovi was metal.
No, yeah,
Bon
but I
Jovi
wouldn't have
was
thought
metal
he was a
before
gateway.
there was the great split before, you know,
Well, like
metal,
my dad listened to
thrash stuff.
Judas Priest and like Black Sabbath and
It's not
all
that
sort of
challenging,
stuff.
was it?
No, it
No,
felt
not
more
for
poppy
you.
compared to what
Yeah.
you've played
For people who were around back
and
then.
screamo. So people like to me, like, you know, presumably there are some decent lyrics. I mean, what am I like? It does sound so similar. Can you honestly hear the distinction between songs and can you understand the lyrics? And what are you hearing when you hear someone yelling like that?
Yeah. It depends on what you're listening to as well. With the death metal, I'd screamo and the growl, people who sound like they need a throat lozenge. Black metal like this. It can be really silly. And you have stuff like King Diamond who sings in this like crazy falsetto and then drops his voice like this.
Yeah.
And it's operatic. It can be really silly, but you don't – any type of music like so Judas Priest sounds like pop music to us now.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like Motorhead and all that sort of stuff that I thought was metal
Motorhead
is probably very accessible stuff compared to what you're listening to.
And most people, I don't know, I'd say the punters would like Motorhead, cool, it's a bit heavy, stuff like that. But they recognise it because it has the similarity.
You recognise their influence.
There's pop music which is kind of there, which was related to blues. It's all part of this big tree of music and stuff like that. The problem is you're kind of leaping in on the wrong angle. If you're going to get introduced to metal, a lot of people's gateway drug is something like Metallica, which were kind of revolutionary in their day, but now are kind of
But I don't know. There's big pop elements to them. I think
a dad rock band kind of.
Dad rock, yeah.
Foo Fighters. They're the Foo Fighters of metal or something like that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it, and people can get into that because it's accessible. It has a bit of melody. You can tell what they're saying. Then if you like the harder stuff and you like more extremity, you kind of led into things where you're talking about the vocals where you can't understand what they're saying. It's the vocals are being used.
Because I remember once said to you, they're probably amazing lyrics, and you were like, no. Really.
A lot of them
I was trying to find some sort of like,
Sometimes you really don't want to hear what they're saying. Although there is, I got to say, man, like I said, ancient Egyptian nerd, there's an ancient Egyptian themed death metal band called Nile, and all of their lyrics are just because like the guitarist writes stuff and he is really into ancient Egyptian nerdery. So you read it like, that's
right. So that's just like
thematic. You never tell what he's saying.
For you, knowing you, you are really loving
it. Oh my God, it's so good. But most of
do you need a moment or
the vocals are more about like timbre and like the gravel and the growl, the sound rather than distinct notes.
How do they maintain that live? You know, honestly, like how
can
screaming
you like that?
How can you?
It's a vocal technique. You
day after day. Okay.
Opera singers train and they can do what they do day in, day out. Metal singers do the same thing. Yeah, you're creating a different sound out of your voice. It's not a clean sound. It's a really raspy. It's a dirty kind of thing. That aggression and where you go. That's probably where a lot of the distinction between opera and metal comes in. Is that opera you want nice, crisp, clean, reproducible sounds. There's beauty in there. You know, beauty and harmony is what you're looking for. In metal, it's disharmony and it's discord and creative tension and stuff.
I love that whole vibe.
Yeah, the philosophy is fantastic.
The philosophy is great.
Terrible.
Yeah, not loving the music. Yeah. No, I'm obviously just loving the pop aspect. So, in terms of what you're playing in now, like you've done. I mean, there was Live Evil where you've kind of, like, I guess, paid homage to some of those more accessible things like Dio and all that sort of stuff, which I wish I'd brought my late mother to because she was obsessed with that weird little Ronnie James Dio and loved him to death.
No.
And I wish we'd been able to come. And then you've been
repopularised through Jack Black a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And in Wretch, you bought like the record with you.
Yep.
Like tell me about the stuff you're doing now.
So Wretch was the grindcore band which we were doing with the lads, which was great fun, and we managed to travel a bit and do East West Death Fest in Sydney with lots of local grindcore bands.
Oh, but you've been like overseas, like
we went to the Czech Republic and played Obscene Extreme Festival. That was a massive, happiest place on earth. Like lots of dead set grindcore freaks.
I love the idea of obscene extreme and they're all vegans.
Vegan festival.
I bet.
Which was really cool. We stayed, we kind of billeted with, stayed.
That's such a 90s thing, isn't it?
Isn't it?
To realize,
No, but we stayed in the underground floor of a house owned by a local couple, and the lady was the mayor of the next village, which was cool. And she was like, "We love you, metal boys. You come here. You're so dirty and stuff, but you're very cleanly and very friend." And like, there was a cat on tap. There was a kitten who would.
And then people listening, you're a massive cat lover.
Yeah, so there was a kitten on hold, and there were ducks. It was so cute. Everyone was really friendly. It was so wholesome.
Oh, that's excellent.
We went out to dinner with the people we were kind of staying with. She was the mayor of the next village. Her partner was like this dude involved in skiing. He got so drunk he wet his pants at the table. So we were supposedly
good times.
we were the degenerates,
right? Yeah. Just look a bit closer to home.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so that
so
experience of getting to travel to play was like fantastic. We were never a great band, or even a good band. We managed to travel.
I love it because your place too. You've got a sort of kitted out studio as well, and I love that you also kind of married the idea of fatherhood and still playing, but like just getting some double glazing. So the kids could still sleep and you can still play in your
magnetite.
I love it.
Yeah, good. Sadly, the kids haven't taken up the drums. They
have you
stand my music.
Them? Oh, really?
Have I influenced them? Yes.
Yeah.
I think one time I played "Shake It Off" to Autumn so many times in a row, she cried.
I don't blame her. Good girl. Wow.
Yeah, Zane hates music. He's like,
that's right.
No, he is. He complains and says,
"Oh, see, I've taken Ari to
a Nick Cave music all the time. I just want quiet."
Oh my God. But you totally got into the whole K-pop thing with Autumn and went to Korea and did that.
No, that was fantastic.
Because that's a connection with kids and partners and friends and whatever is music.
Music's about community and identity. That was the coolest thing about the K-pop gig now. It was she was into that, so it was being the nerd, every moment's a teaching moment. So pushed her to learn Korean language because since the rise of K-pop, as a cultural force,
massively.
Oh my God, so many people have been learning Korean. Korea's a cultural house. Oh my God, if we can travel there, do that. Fantastic place. The gig was, oh my God, the production values are through the wazoo.
Honestly, going to gigs with my son, it's just the most amazing experience. And in my case, we like some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Here's some I prepared earlier, but I got him his first set list. We saw Black Country New Road at the Opera House, and it was so funny because a lot of these are really hard one. Like the Buzzcocks one is really messy because I really reefed it out of someone's hand who was going to try to take it off me. They made, they'll never make that mistake again. But it was so funny because afterwards he said, "Oh, Mum, you should really just keep it." And what I love is, to some people, these are just bits of paper with gaffer tape, but he knows he needs to be the keeper, the caretaker when so maybe there'll be something that the kids will like. And so tell me, what do you think about the scene now? You think it's healthy? I don't know. In terms of the Canberra music scene, I think we could do a little better attracting bands here. I don't know. The Canberra Theatre's done a little better lately. I saw Nick Cave and Dirty 3 and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. Do you think, it's still retained its force here, that metal scene and live music scene here? Or what do you think?
Canberra, particularly compared to other cities in Australia, certainly holds its weight when it comes to metal. As long as the basement is around, it's still going to do it. I mean, that just seems to be the hub. Whereas other places have venues that come and go, the basement has been the only kind of solid.
It has been a mainstay.
It's a core of people, and it can kind of expand when the bands come through. The basement gets all the larger size ones. I don't know. As far as what we've got, we're probably missing that bigger mid-sized venue. Because the leap between what that venue can hold and what a stadium can hold
that's true.
Something is...
That's true. And it is a pain for us because, I will go to Sydney for the right gig, but, there's obviously travel and accommodation and all that sort of stuff. And although since the lockout laws, I think Sydney's live music has really gone downhill. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel Melbourne's still the place to be.
Used to drive up there and see shows and come back the same day often, but a lot less now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. But the underground scene is good. I don't know about the commercial scene.
Yeah. So I don't know. So the kids aren't defining themselves with music, you don't think anymore.
Well, some are, but just not. It's not.
There's still
not
a passion.
Many. Yeah.
But I do feel like now discovering old stuff is like, you know, they saw it on a TikTok or, you know what I mean? Like, I just think, yeah, I don't know, just it's bizarre.
Okay, Grandma.
Yeah, but they do. Like,
yeah,
it's so
I know
funny.
TikTok is like a, but it's just
a huge gateway for people. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know that.
Sure, but it's just another avenue for music, though, isn't it?
But there's a glut now. Like, it's, I don't know. I think when we were growing up, it was something on Triple J or community radio or
tape trading. Was
tapes
a really big thing.
Yeah, someone came back from the States with something, or you read about it in Juice or Rolling Stone or, you know, BMA or something, and it was just like felt like this exciting kind of like discovery. And I feel like now there's so much. I don't blame kids for not necessarily like latching onto a particular style anymore because there's just so much. I don't know. It's overwhelming. Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's it. I wouldn't say oversaturation, but the ease of availability of music probably means that, you know, you can be a cultural crow, like pick and choose and get what you want to and get little bits and pieces here and there rather than latching onto something wholeheartedly and making it your identity.
Yeah, for sure. But having said that, you and I are, you know, middle-aged and still doing this. And are you still...
Middle-aged?
Yeah, whatever. Like, you know, we're not all geriatric.
Interview's over.
That's it, cut. No, but you're still going to be playing until you can't, right? Like what?
Probably.
Yeah.
I hope
like,
so.
why not keep going? Like are you still going to be playing in bands, do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully not playing Jessie's Girl.
As if you don't need to do that.
I was supposed to be playing on the weekend, but I cut my finger, like opening a bag of corn.
There's like, that's so...
Getting very close to the time where it's like the difference between falling over and having a fall.
Having a fall. Yes, I was wondering what the distinction was actually. Yeah.
Oh, he's had a fall.
No, I think it's when you say I've fallen and I can't get up. Like that's the line.
I'm an Australian male, so I would never admit that I can't get up. I'd probably say, I've fallen. I'm going to stay here out of spite.
Well, there's pills for that if you can't get up, as well as, the spite. But anyway.
I tried them. I passed out.
They're so weird, though. It's weird anyway. It's weird for chicks knowing. Yeah, it's just a weird concept.
You can't technically get it up.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. We can just kind of turn up, though, can't we? Chicks. Is this the director's cut now?
I'm uncomfortable with these questions.
You signed a waiver. You don't even know what you did. You don't even know what you did. But like, oh my God. Oh, Duncan, that may be all we have time for because our lawyers are calling. But look, I just, love our friendship. And actually what I really need people to know is that we would dance to a Final Countdown and some of the really bad classics at Toast.
No shit. I went to Sweden and they are totally into Europe, like the band as well as the organisation. I was really surprised.
Oh my God. No, we would dance to some classics. I think people would look at you not realising that you...
Oh no, I could move back in my day.
And you will move again. You will move again. It's okay. Duncan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Dave.
The Vinyl Monologues is hosted by the ever-opinionated, only in the best way, Tatjana Clancy, and produced by the button-pushing, camera-pointing, lights-moving sound guy, Paul Bissett. That's me. Thanks to the hilarious, and Tatjana's acerbic old mate, Duncan Beard, who baffles us with all his love of Taylor Swift amidst his commitment to grindcore. But he's a super smart doctor, so we forgive him. A million thanks go to Sia Ahmad for our fantastic theme music. It takes a special person to totally nail the vague brief of, please make a tune that sort of sounds like a hidden Joy Division New Order B-side, so please do check out the rest of Sia's stuff. The Vinyl Monologues is a Megenius production, recorded and produced on the unceded lands of the Ngunnawal people. Visit megenius.com to see what else those crazy guys are up to. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review because we want to know what you think. Email us at thevmpod@gmail.com or just go to vinylmonologues.com. Thanks for listening. We'll be back before you know it.